still morning. Good morning, everyone present here. Thank you. Chiefs, distinguished shareholders, ladies and gentlemen, it gives me great pleasure to welcome you to the 71st Annual General Meeting of our company, for which notice had been given to members of the company having a right to attend and vote. Before proceeding to the business of the meeting, I would like to inform you that shareholders and proxies have been counted. There is a proper quorum for the meeting as required by the company's Articles of Association. I also confirm that the Registrar of Directors' Holdings is available for inspection in compliance with the requirements of Section 3018 of the Companies and the Allied Matters Act 2020. I would like to introduce to you the directors of our company, secretaries, representatives, and other parties present with us today. My name is Daisy Danjuma. I'm chairman of May & Baker. Immediate to my right is Mr. Patrick Aja, Managing Director, CEO. Next is Mr. Ayodeji Abodere, Executive Director, Finance. On my immediate left is Mrs. Adetong Abiru, Marina Nominees. Next is Mr. Valentine Okelu, Executive Director, May & Baker. Next to him is Mr. Kolawole Durojaye, Director of May & Baker. Other directors participating online virtually are Dr. Eduge Abebe, Director, Mr. Ishaya Dankaro, Director, Mrs. Gloria Odumodu, Director, Chief Samuel Onyishi, Director. Table on the left. First sitting out, Sir G.O. Adewumi, Chairman Audit Committee. Next, I think it's not properly, we have Mrs. Christy Vincent Walaka. We have Mr. Obi Adeleke, Member Audit Committee. We have Mr. Ugochukwu Okonkwo. That's okay. Mr. Benson Adejanya. Auditors. Mr. Babatunde Komolafe. Auditors, thank you. Table on the right. We have company solicitors, representatives of the company solicitors, thank you, representative of SEC, Mrs. Linda Dako, representative of NGX, and representatives of CAC. Okay. That's all. Please note that you have an opportunity to comment on or second each resolution put to the meeting before the vote on is taken. To facilitate the smooth conduct of the meeting, may I request that those who wish to speak should so indicate by raising their hands, and I will call upon the shareholder to speak. Please, when called upon to speak, state your name audibly and clearly before making your comments. One of the ushers will hand you a microphone to make your comments more audible. I now call on the Secretary's representative to read the notice convening the meeting.
Good morning again, everyone. Notice is hereby given that the 71st Annual General Meeting of the company will be held at the Muson Center, Onikon, Lagos on Thursday, 2nd June 2022 at 11 a.m. for the following purposes. Ordinary business: to lay before the meeting the financial statements for the year ended 31st December 2021 and the reports of the directors, auditors, and the statutory audit committee thereon. 2, to disclose the remuneration of managers. 3, to declare a dividend. 4, to elect and re-elect directors. Special notice has been received by the company that it is intended at the meeting to propose the following resolution as an ordinary resolution, namely, that Dr. Edigoya Bebe be re-elected the director of the company pursuant to Section 282 of the Companies and Allied Matters Act 2020, notwithstanding that she attained the age of 70 years on 17th October 2020. 5, to authorize the directors to fix the remuneration of the external auditors. 6, to elect members of the audit committee. The special business: to consider and if thought fit to pass the following resolution, which will be proposed as a special resolution. Remuneration of directors. That the remuneration of the directors of a company for the year ended 31st December 2021 in the sum of 1,250,000 naira for each non-executive director, save the chairman, whose remuneration shall be 1,500,000 naira, be approved. 2, to consider and if thought fit to pass the following conjoint resolution, which will be proposed as an ordinary resolution. On issued shares: that the directors be and are hereby authorized to take steps to comply with the requirements of the section 124 of the Companies and Allied Matters Act, CAMA 2020, and the Company's Regulations 2021 with respect to the unissued shares of a company, including but not limited to cancellation of such unissued shares. That the directors be and are hereby authorized to enter into and execute any agreement, deeds, notices, and any other documents necessary for and or incidental to bringing into effect the resolution in the first paragraph above. That the directors of the company or any one of them for the time being be and are hereby authorized to appoint such professional parties and advisors and to perform all such other actions and to do all such other things as may be necessary for or incidental to bringing into effect the resolutions in the foregoing paragraphs, including without limitation, complying with directives of any regulatory authority. By order of the board, Marina Nominees Limited, secretaries to your company, dated in Lagos on 24th March 2022. The notes: electronic information. Relevant documents in connection with the meeting are available to all shareholders on the company's website as indicated. Proxy. Every member of the company entitled to attend and vote at the meeting is entitled to appoint a proxy to attend and vote in their stead. A proxy form is provided with the annual reports and financial statements. To be valid for the purpose of the meeting, the form must be completed and deposited at the office of the registrars, Veritas Registrars Limited, Plot 89, Ajosi Adeogun Street, Victoria Island Extension, Lagos, no later than 48 hours before the time appointed for holding the meeting. Copies can be downloaded from either from the websites indicated. Shareholders can also send soft copies of their duly executed proxy form via email to the address indicated. A proxy need not be a member of a company. Each duly completed proxy form shall be counted as one, and every member present in person or by proxy shall have one vote. A proxy remains valid provided that no information in writing of death, insanity, revocation, or transfer shall have been received by the company at the registered or adjourned meeting at which the proxy is used. Any objection to a proxy shall be made in due time and shall be referred to the chairman of the meeting, whose decision shall be final and conclusive. The company has made arrangements at its cost for the stamping of the duly completed and signed proxy forms, the e-dividend. All shareholders are encouraged to download the e-dividend mandate form from the registrar's website, execute same with the banks, and send to the registrars to update their records for automatic posting of dividends. Dividend payment. If the dividend recommended by the directors is approved by the members, the dividend warrants will be paid on Friday, 3rd June 2022 to the shareholders whose names appear in the register of members at the close of business on Tuesday, 17th May 2022. Unclaimed dividends. All shareholders with unclaimed dividends should address their claims to the registrars, Veritas Registrars Limited, at the address indicated. Due to volume involved, the list of all unclaimed dividends is hosted on the company's website and also on the registrar's website as indicated for affected shareholders to access. Closure of register and transfer books. The register of members and transfer books will be closed from Wednesday 18th to Friday 28th May 2022, 4 days inclusive, for the purpose of dividend. Audit Committee. In accordance with Section 4046 of the CAMA 2020, any member may nominate a shareholder as before the annual general meeting. Nominees to the Statutory Audit Committee must be compliant with the laws, codes, rules, and regulations guiding listed companies in Nigeria. The right to ask questions. Members have the right to ask questions in writing prior to the meeting on their observation or concerns arising from the annual report and financial statements 2021, provided that such questions in writing are submitted are submitted to the company on or before Friday, 27th May 2022. For ease of submission, a dedicated email address as indicated has been created to receive submissions from shareholders. Disclosure requirements. CAMA has introduced disclosure of remuneration of managers to the ordinary business of the annual general meeting. The Corporate Guidelines 2021 issued by the CAC has defined the manager in relation to disclosure of remuneration at the annual general by whatever name called, occupying a position in senior management, and who is vested with significant autonomy, discretion, and authority in the administration and management of the affairs of a company, whether in whole or in part. The remuneration of managers is defined in the guidelines, is stated on page 86 of the annual report. Live streaming of the AGM. The AGM will be streamed live online to enable shareholders and other relevant stakeholders who will not be attending the meeting physically to also be part of the proceedings. The link for the live streaming will be made available on the company's website as.
Thank you, Mrs. Abiru. I will 8 of the annual report. Or I request that my statement, which you'll find, be taken as read. Thank you very much. The first item on the agenda is to lay before you the financial statements for the year ended 31st December 2021 and the reports of the directors, auditors, and audit committee thereon. I now call on the auditor's representative to read the report of the auditors and the financial statements which have been circulated to all members in compliance with.
Thank you, Madam. Good morning, distinguished shareholders. My name is Benson Adigyan. The independent auditor's reports are stated on pages 36 to 39. With the permission of the shareholders, I would like to read the abridged independent auditor's report. Thank you. Independent auditor's report to the shareholders of May and Baker Nigeria PSC. Opinion. We have audited the company consolidated financial statement of May and Baker, Nigerian PLC, the company and its subsidiaries, together the group, which comprise the consolidated statement of financial position at 31st December 2021, and the consolidated statement of profit or loss and other comprehensive income, consolidated statement of changes in equity, and consolidated statement of cash flows for the year ended, and notes to the consolidated financial statement, including a summary of significant accounting policies and other explanatory information. In our opinion, the company consolidated financial statement presents fairly in all material respects the consolidated financial position of the group at 31st December 2021 and its financial performance and its cash flows for the year then ended in accordance with International Financial Reporting Standard, IFRS, in compliance with the Financial Reporting Council of Nigerian Act No. 6, 2011, and with the requirements of the Companies and Allied Matters Act 2020. Basis for opinion. We conducted our audit in accordance with International Standard on Auditing, ISAS. Our responsibility under those standards are further described in the auditor's responsibility for the audit of the financial statement section of our report. We are independent of the group in accordance with the International Ethics Standard Board of Accountant Codes of Ethics for Professional Accountants, ISBA code, together with the ethical requirements that are relevant to our audit of the consolidated financial statement in Nigeria, our other ethical responsibility in accordance with this requirement and the ISBA code. We believe we have obtained is sufficient and appropriate to provide a basis for our opinion. Then I move to page 39. That's the report on other legal and regulatory requirements. In accordance and compliance with the requirement of the 5th schedule of the Companies and Allied Matters Act 2020, we confirm that 1. We have obtained all the information and explanation which to the best of our knowledge and belief were necessary for the purpose of our audit. 2. The company and its subsidiaries have kept proper books of account. The group consolidated statement of financial position and consolidated statement of profit or loss and other comprehensive income are in agreement with the books of accounts. The annual report was signed by myself, Benson Adejayan, for and on behalf of PKF Professional Services, Chartered Accountant, Lagos, Nigeria, and was dated 24th March 2022. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Benson Adejayan. May I also call on Sir G.O. Adewumi, Chairman of the Audit Committee, to read the report of the Audit Committee to the members. Thank you.
Particularly the board members and all my colleagues. I will ask for your I ask for your permission, please, to let me sit down a bit. Thank you very much, madam. The report is found on page 27. I read as follows. In accordance with the provisions of section 404 subsection 7 of the Companies and Allied Matters Act 2020, CARMA 2020, and section 30 of the Code of Corporate Governance in Nigeria, issued by the Securities and Exchange Commission, we have received and considered the consolidated group financial statements of the company for the year ended 31st December 2021 and the reports thereon, and confirm: 1. that the accounting and reported policies of the company are in accordance with legal requirements and agreed ethical practices. 2, that we have reviewed the scope and planning of the audit for the year ended 31st December 2021. 3, that we have reviewed the findings on management matters and letters issued by the external auditors and management responses thereto. 4, that we have ensured the development of a comprehensive internal control framework for the company and obtained assurance on the operating effectiveness of the internal control framework. 5, that we have seen management's procedure for the identification of significant fraud risks in the company and ensure that adequate prevention, detection, and reporting mechanisms are in place. 6, that in the course of the year, we have reviewed various reports by the internal auditor describing the strength and quality of internal control, including issues and recommendations for improvements raised during the most recent internal control review by the company. 7, that we have authorized the internal auditor to carry out investigations into the activities of the company which may be of interest or concern to the committee. 8, that we have made recommendations to the board with regard to the appointment, removal, and remuneration of the external auditor of the company. In our opinion, the scope and planning of the group audit for the year to December 31st, 2021 are adequate, and we have made the recommendations required in respect of the external auditors. My name is Sir G.O. Adewumi, Audit Committee Chairman, and members of the Statutory Audit Committee, Mr. B.O. Adeleke, Mrs. C.O. Vincent Uwalaka, Mrs. G.I. Odumodu, and Chief S.M. Onyishi. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Sir G.O. Adewumi. I hereby lay before you the financial statements and reports for the year ended December 31st, 2021, as required by Section 3881 of the Companies and Allied Matters Act 2020. Some of you may have comments and questions on the annual report. We shall be pleased to answer. In that case, kindly refer to the pages of the annual report to which the question relates. I will also suggest that members be brief in their comments to afford others the opportunity to comment as well. Are there any comments or questions?
Thank you, my chairperson. I'm grateful for this opportunity. And I will try as much as possible to prove, as you have just said. My name is Abayomi Adebayo. I'm the National Coordinator for Passionate Shareholders Association Incorporated. All this while, as a result of COVID and the lockdown for about 2 or 3 years back, which made AGM to be held by proxy. We appreciate me and Baker for deeming it fit to like to see the faces of its shareholders once again by making this meeting open. So I think we need to really commend the board and management for this your good gesture, because a lot of shareholders have been indoor, even the old ones that uses the AGM as a means of exercise. We're happy to be here this morning, so we really appreciate for this. To my points and my comments, on page 8, where we have a chairman's statement talking about dividend. For me, the dividend of 30 kobo out of the EPS of 57 kobo is quite appreciated. We still think the management and board can still do more. On page 7, it is interesting to read from the chairman's statement that experts estimated that Nigeria now has roughly 60% of Africa's pharmaceutical production capacity. And our company, Mia & Baker, is among the top 3 in this area. This gladdens my heart so much. This tells us how effective we are in our chosen sector. And then page 8, still under chairman's statement, the significant progress regarding our joint venture with the federal government of Nigeria for local manufacturing of vaccines is quite impressive and commendable. But I am suggesting that shareholders should be given a privilege to witness the groundbreaking for the construction of the vaccine factory, which is expected to take place by the 3rd quarter of this year, 2022. This is my candid suggestion. On page 6, where we have a result at a glance, I have one of my greatest concern there. That page 6, where we have result at a glance, I noticed there that we have a profit after taxation, which increased by 1.5%, very commendable. Earnings per share also increased by 1.8%. But my worry and concern is that the workforce, that is the number of our employees, reduced by 6.2%, meaning that we laid off a total of 21 employees. I'm not happy with this at all, and I think we need some explanation regarding that, especially with the situation in the country today. I think there should be no need for us to lay off our staffs, so maybe you can give us explanation for this. On page 19, where we have a donation, the donation stated on page 19 amounts to a total of 3.6 million. But my worry is that out of the donation of 3.6 million, 2.376 million was given to Loma. They said for shooting or so or whatever. Loma is a Lagos State government-owned prostata, and they are being funded by the Lagos State government. So why do you have to give them so much? 2.376 million out of a total donation of 3.6 million. When the Federal Medical Center KB for the support for family medicine got just 100,000. So I think I'm worried about this. You should give us some explanation, sir. Then our own share that we got from the CBN 100 billion naira loan to pharmaceutical companies, we would like to know which area have we actually invested in so that it can bring bountiful returns in the nearest future. And on page 17, I want to confirm here loud and clear that from my own experience and testimony, our own paracetamol, that is the red sachet, is the best so far in the market today. Because I've taken it several times and I have testimony. But I want to encourage that we should maintain the effectiveness of it. We should maintain it. And lastly, I want to mention that I remember some few years back, before the lockdown and before the AGM was being held by proxy, when we normally have the full house AGM, you launched some new products, which you call natural products that are being made from natural roots and herbs. And I'm very interested in those products. And I'm not sure they are being advertised in this annual report. So I want to suggest that you should have brought them here and display them so shareholders can patronize and buy some of them. Thank you very much. God bless our company.
Please. We are taking from.
I'm signing on the
Okay.
existing protocol. The chairperson of Mia & Baker PLC, directors, the directors of Mia & Baker PLC, regulatory authorities here present, my fellow distinguished shareholders. I'm standing on the existing protocol. My name is Ichie Godwin Ide. I'm the national coordinator of Evergreen Shareholders Association, Incorporated. The chairperson, I must say that all the encomiums you poured on me and Baker for throwing this AGM open is you deserve all the encomiums because you have opened the floodgate for other companies to follow them within so that they will also conduct their AGM openly. They will throw it open to shareholders so that shareholders can come here and deliberate on issues that affect their company. So I must say all your encomiums are well deserved. Okay, I must start my comment by saying that I have looked at the inside page of this annual report and account. Your lily table water is not quite visible in the market. I don't know what is happening. I don't know whether you are not producing it in large quantity, and I don't know the sector you are servicing with this your lily table water. Because if you go to Okeari, you go to Jankara market, even at Igondo, and you discover that lily table water is not available. So your competitors are having an edge over lily water. So please do something about it. Then, if you look at page 18, note 11, as regards staff scheme. Yes, staff scheme. You said nil. You are talking about free float. Note free float. I will suggest that for a staff who has served the company diligently and has retired meritoriously, I think there is need for this board or the company to allocate some shares to such staff who have retired and have served the company diligently and meritoriously. Because this idea of saying that your staff scheme is nil, it's not ideal. It is not it is not okay at all by me. And also, I will also suggest that in future, activities of annual general meeting should be shown in the annual report and account. That's why we are here, so that at least we can see what we deliberated or not on in the annual general meeting. Your donation is commendable, 3.6 million for the year under review. It is commendable, but please, in future, like I rightly said, please show activities covering the annual general meeting, the annual report and account. On a final note, page 84, I just want to inquire, this Osuka Nigeria Limited, the joint venture between May and Baker and Osuka Nigeria Limited, has it started operation? Has it kick-started operation at all, or is still dormant? I want you to at least shed some light on that. Then, on a final note, like I said, page 104, I looked at your bonus history. The last time you declared a bonus was 2010. Please, I will advise that you consider declaring one next year. Thank you for the opportunity given me.
Thank you. After him, you can talk.
The chairman of the board members, regulatory authorities here present, my esteemed colleagues, shareholders, good morning. My name is Matthew Akelade, President, Noble Shareholders Solidarity Association. Like the chairman mentioned at the beginning of this meeting that he wants us to be as brief as possible. I will be as brief as possible. And I will say that my viewpoint I've made known to the management. But having said that, we should give honor to whom honor is due. And I must commend the board and management for the great improvement recorded in 2021, which was also a COVID year, very challenging year, a year that saw the valuation of the naira, scarcity of foreign exchange, and I know a lot of your material inputs are imported, poses big challenge, not for your own business alone, to so many businesses. So that you have been able to navigate it successfully and recorded the improvement we are seeing here by the ratios here. It's a great achievement. I also want to commend the managing director. Last year, it was somebody else's scorecard that he came with. But this year, we are now seeing his own full year performance. And I want to say the confidence reposed in you by the board is not misplaced. Congratulations for the excellent performance. Revenue grew by 20.7%, which is good, and even profit by before tax, despite high level of inflation, grew by 15.37%. Beyond that, the increase in dividend is beyond surpass the increase in any per share, which means you have at heart the interest of the shareholders. Because what shareholders are looking for is their dividend, what comes into their pocket. Some of us are retirees, and that's what we live on. So we want to say big thank you to you. I want to commend the performance of one of your subsidiaries, Oswald Nigeria Limited, which grew revenue by 91% and profit after tax by 129%. It is a great performance, and even the contribution to the overall performance of the group was 14%. It's excellent, and I think whatever they are doing that make them to achieve that height, they should continue, and the board should continue to encourage them. Previous speaker has spoken on Bao vaccine projects. On page 8, where we have the chairman report, she alluded to it that in the third quarter of this year, there will be groundbreaking ceremony. It is my prayer that it comes through, because this issue of bio-vaccine has been on the table for about 4 years now. I know when you are dealing with government people, it's not an easy task, but I will say we should keep on the pressure on them to ensure that the groundbreaking period, that date we have set, materializing. I know this project has the potential of contributing substantially to the performance of the company. In the recent past, Nigeria was announced as one of the 6 African countries to manufacture COVID-19 vaccine. I wish it had been in place, that this vaccine thing had been in place. We would have been able to take advantage of it. But it's still not late. We should do everything to make sure it comes through this year. You are going to have a quantum jump in your revenue and bottom line as well, if you follow it through. People have commended you on the donation that we have on page 19. It is commendable, but I will admonish the board and the management to look at the less privileged as well. Let's look at the less privileged. Charity home and CSR in the community of our operation is very, very important. Uh, the board members, I looked at the attendance at board meeting and that of committee meeting. Excellent. Excellent. It showed the commitment of the board members to the company's affairs, and we should keep it up. Like I said earlier on, I've made known all other uh, comments, questions to the board, and they have been satisfactorily answered. Finally, on the lighter mood, some of us are looking forward to a big bash on August 6th, when our chairman will attain that decade. I pray for you. You will continue to enjoy good health. You will live well. You will enjoy the fruit of your labor. Nobody will cut your life short. So will it be. I rejoice with you in advance. Congratulations.
The chairman, distinguished directors, and very distinguished shareholders. Please, the chairman, I'm asking that you allow me to sit down. I'm sure you know. I was so excited to come to this meeting for 3 reasons. One is that last year, I brought to the attention of the board what has happened to Ghana. And the chairman promised that those things will be changed. And luckily, the report we are considering today has shown the effort of the board in ensuring that we are included in the whole list. So I would like to congratulate you, riding on the prayers of Mr. Akinlade, who is a pastor. I'm not a pastor, but the fact remains that I also pray alongside that may God bless you, not only you, but all the members of the board, so that you'll be bringing in forth what will give us joy anytime we are sitting. And I am happy that you have one politician on the board now, who, of course, if he's elected, you can see, if you look at all of you, you are in English dress. The only politician is in Agbada, blowing Agbada. So I'm sure if he seeks an elective office and win, it will also be a source of joy to the company. Yeah. Yes, I know. I'm only taking my time. Yes. Contract. Yes, I also want us to look at the contract job that we have done. We're able to make 14 billion naira as against 21 last year. I am encouraging the management to try as much as possible to move very close to what we made the previous year. The other last thing I want to talk about is this CAMA 2020 on share capital, on issue capital. It's a discretionary thing, but I want the board to take a right discretion. There's nothing wrong if even we want to make the right issue, because we need a lot of money considering energy risk, what we are paying for diesel today, and in fact gas, and what we are also paying for foreign exchange. So we actually need a lot of money to be able to achieve this thing. So, and the cheapest way to raise money is through the capital market. And I'm quite sure with the promise of the chairman on page 8, shareholders will take their rights and will still have money to do business. It is very important that we must have money. If you are pursuing foreign exchange and the window is open, you don't have money to buy it, then the effort is in vain. So it's very important. Although I saw the request of the board here, the last paragraph, it says that we are talking about advisors and all that. look at the last statement. So I do not know whether you already decided on what you want to do while you are thinking of advisors and professional parties, so that we will know and get prepared. Because the share of me and Baker is an important share to us. At least you had the three speakers that spoke earlier before me. We'll be able to take it. If you are doing right, we will support the right. Also, even the chairman alone takes her right, the right succeeds. With the volume of shares the chairman is having, and my good friend, P1, who is very passionate about me and Baker. So I want the board to think in that direction, something that will give us money to sustain the risk of doing business, foreign exchange, energy issue, gas and all this and that. It's very important. So I think I've given my point. I want to thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak. MD, congratulations.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman,
Please be brief so that we can take other people. Thank you.
members of the board, fellow shareholders, all other protocols observed. I am delighted that this meeting is an open one. The policemen who should have been arresting us for coming to AGM started it, and they make the meeting an open one. Thank you all. We are delighted that you did not let old people like us suffer from anxiety, because we have been able to move about. On raising money, the old man, the old soldier, C.Y. Danjuma, has given us money at one time. Don't let us say we are going to subscribe, because when we go for rights issue, after a few years, the right will be cancelled or it will be diminished. Instead of that, ask for certain papers, people who can put money in, give them money, add a little bit over and above what central bank is doing now for in the money market. That is for saying that you put money and you want a commission on it. It is 5 or 4%. If you say 5% for whoever gives us lump sum money, you will probably raise money. People who have not been able to go into politics will put their money there instead of putting the 100,000, 100 million somewhere. If they give us, we will use that in our country. Look for such things. And I pray that God, who has created this country, when we were only on this stage, in the days of Professor Femi Diaz and others, we are still around. You must not let them and be that. I know when woman is in the kitchen, she cooks well. And madam, you will feed us better. May God be with you. Chief Shotunde Shokweju, Chairman, Beacon Shareholders Association, who should have been the bandmaster for the army in those days.
Thank you, Chairperson. All protocol duly observed. The name is Prince Dr. Antonio Mojola, the National Coordinator in the Federal Shareholders Association of Nigeria. Let me add my voice to those who have appreciated the board and management for very good performance in the passing year. And we are also praying that going forward, the God will continue to strengthen the board and management and staff of our company. I only want to make a few comments. And those comments will be centered on one, the level of our inventory on page 75. When we look at it, is high, more than double the previous year on. We feel it's because COVID has opened up, going straight as we have prayed, and it's going, and it's gone, that that inventory is high. So we just want you to be consistent and be dynamic while proactively looking into how reasonable that figure will be going forward. Yes. I'm sure one person has spoken about the fund we have gathered to make for production. I urge that we make a proper utilization. Like the narrations there, they are not too clear for the ordinary people. Maybe medically there are some restrictions on what to say. But if you look at it, they hasn't said anything to us to be more meaningful. So you may have to have a second look at that when you are back to the office, so that we can take the best advantage of that advertisement. It's not clear at all. It's not clear what we just said. What is it meant for? What purpose is it meant to serve? The malaria cure, codes, and say it in a very plain language so that people can appreciate. Finally, look at the page where we have value added. My section there is that our value added should be done in such a way that at the end of the day, what the company can keep will be more than what we give out. If you look at this one, maybe on the 50-50 basis, but the reserve, in terms of application, will be more. Of course, after taking up the employee salaries and the rest of them, we found out that the rest is very, very low. It is the retention that we use to boost more further production, that we use to pay dividends and the rest of that. So if the payout is too high, then it's not to the advantage of the company. Thank you very much. I have many analyses here, but I don't want to waste our time. I'll send it to company.
If you give free, there is no problem in that. Yes, also, Mr. My next point is page 102, expenses by nature. Mr. Chairman or Mr. Chairperson, I want to dwell on marketing expenses, which rose from 63 million to 165 million. Other lines there also shows increase, but let us try and manage the cost. It will add more to our bottom line. At an end, we will have more to go home with. Page 82. On unclaimed dividend, that figure is continuously rising, possibly because we are not doing enough to make sure that the owners take their money. Page 62, legal and professional charges. Please let us reduce that cost also, because from 13 million to 23 million, I guess, is quite high. Page 41, trade and trade receivables is also very high. Or you did marginally there to recover small of our money. But my question is, how often do we review our trade receivables to make sure that we collect our money also to add to our bottom line? Page 101, exchange loss. I want to suggest, looking at how unstable currency that we are operating, that's the dollar, can we open a kind of a domiciliary account where we can warehouse some level of dollar, so that when we want to make use of it, we can lay hold on that. Going forward, the MD, we want you to have your report, even if it's a pager, which summarizes the activities you carried on all through the year. By the time some of us have it, we may not want to question you much or try to interrogate you much, but looking at your report, that will give us a bit confidence of what you have done in the year. I most sincerely thank you for this opportunity given. Thank you.
Let me go. We are going to do progress, but let me do one gender one. Lady. You men have spoken, so let one lady speak before we wind up. I'm sure you talk on behalf of all the women here. Thank you. Please be brief.
Yes. Good morning, Mr. Chairman, members of the board, the regulatory authority present, and my co-shareholder. My name is Mrs. C.O. Obide, National Coordinator of Park of Shareholder Association Incorporated. Madam, the female gender, it is not equal to the men. And you know, female, wherever women are present, we know we should expect some dividend better, because we will assist them. Some of them always get gray hair on time, but wherever they have female, the burden will be less. So maybe consider female gender. Let it be 33 or 50%. Ma, I saw one advert on a baby here that you said it makes him to be fit. How do we, the first stage? This product today, for female, we should have it here. You know, somebody has made mention of this. In the holding, before this company was sold in public, we have only 4 or 5 female as a shareholder. It was private then. I remember we used to do meetings in the premises, in the company premises. Then, the product they used to give us, some of them, I have a pack. I wanted to bring it today, but the way I was packing yesterday to come down to Lagos, I couldn't bring it. I did not always see the product in the market. I have the pack. There is a particular chemist that used to ask me, Madam, what happened to you? Some of your products that is inexistent then. Because I remember whenever we come for this, there were just 4 females. It was still private then. Those products, I don't see it again. What happened? Is it the raw material, or people don't buy it, or the sales is low, or the sales departments are not doing anything on it? I want to know. There are some products I'm seeing here, the adverts, that is not much, even in open market, here in Idumota and Ereko, here to sell bulk purchase. Is the sales department not doing anything, or the way the market is low? I want to know. And moreover, cholera. Many of the pharmaceutical companies, they've not gotten it. And it affects them in north. Sometimes here in Lagos. How are we preparing to get solutions to those products? There are some products that some pharmaceutical companies don't have, that I think we are one of the first think of it and have it. What are we doing to get that? Our water in those days, look at it. They are having outage with our water. Because I remember I was one of the distributors then. But it's no more in the market. Let's do something so that by next year, I trust in a female. Whenever I see female, I'm always happy for our dividend. These male people, I don't trust them. For female, wherever they are, I know dividend will surely come out. Not that I don't trust you. Look at Baba. Baba is looking at me somehow. But whenever at least it will let. It would be like Baba Shokweji too, but Baba Shokweji is nice. So let's the sales department do something. Thank you for giving me this opportunity.
Thank you very much. I think we have exhausted ourselves in this question issue. And I would like the managing director to respond to the questions raised up. He will give you answers as much as possible to let you know where we are today. Thank you. Yes, to some extent we are. Correct. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you, our distinguished shareholders. I'm glad I can see many of you this time. Last year there were a few, but we are glad that many of you can be here. Can we clap for ourselves, our shareholders? Yes, sir. Okay. All right. I want to thank you for all those questions. They are very intelligent questions, and we have made a lot of notes. Your questions are going to help our operations to get better. I'll start with Mr. Abayomi's question, passionate shareholders. First, you requested that when we're going to do the groundbreaking, that shareholders will be given an opportunity to attend. We have made a note of that, and we're going to invite at least some of the leaders of the shareholder associations to that groundbreaking. Okay. You pointed at reduction in workforce. Let me honestly state that we did not retrench any staff. We did not retrench any staff. Actually, we were one of the few companies that even during COVID were recruiting staff. What you saw in the report was simply because of the timings of reports. We normally have some outsourced staff. So at some point, some of them leave and we have to replace them. So it's just the timing of the reports, those people. And I like to actually announce that because we just opened a new herbal line, we have actually recruited more people. So you also talked about donation to Lorma. Yes, because of COVID, we were not able to do most of the CSR activities that we normally do. Paseli School for the Blind. Actually, we'll see some of those people sweeping Obakran Road, the right side of it. They normally wear their uniform branded May and Baker. So what you're seeing is the monthly salary for all those workers on that side where we support. So it's not to Lagos State government. It's also a way of assisting the government to recruit Nigerians and also keep our environment clean. Investment of the CBN loan. It's important that you were able to pick some of those. The CBN loan was given as a relief to COVID, to companies that have manufacturing, so they will be able to improve their operations and not lay off staff. We got part of the loan, and the CBN was monitoring what that loan was supposed to be used for. I just mentioned that we opened a new herbal line. That's one of the projects. And as we go along, you're going to hear some of the other projects that we are doing with that loan. And like I said, CBN sends their people to come and audit and check what we're doing with the loan. Some of you may have watched me on TV when they granted interview to say exactly what we're doing with that loan. So we're monitoring to make sure that what we do is exactly paracetamol. Thank you so much. I like to say that M&B paracetamol is the best. Yes, we're still the best. Yes. So somebody also mentioned about our herbal products. I just mentioned that we just launched a new herbal line. If you go to page 106, if you go to page 106, you will see one of those products. So, and if you check very well, the product Niclovix is a product that was discovered in Nigeria by Nigeria Institute of Pharmaceutical Research. So that product was discovered by professors in Nigeria, and May and Baker was chosen as the pharmaceutical company to produce that product, and it's because of that product that we invested in the herbal line. So we are doing a lot to support local talents and to support Nigeria. Number two, Mr. Ichie Godwin Ide, you talked about our lily water is not visible. I will agree with you. I will agree with you. The reason is we are using third-party manufacturers to manufacture our lily water, and they have not been able to produce enough. We never meet demand. But let me announce to this house that before the end of this year, as part of those projects from the CBN loan, we are going to be launching our own water factory at Ota. So we are going to invite some of the shareholders when we launch that project. So very soon, by the grace of God. Okay, I know the ladies will be represented. So we're building our own water line. The machines are arriving. What used to be our food factory, you know, we discontinued the food factory, but we are not wasting that factory. That factory is being remodeled to be our water factory. So once we do that and we start producing, you're going to see lily water all over the place. Like I've always said, lily water is the official water that God has approved. Tell the other companies. Okay. Somebody, we have also taken note about the suggestion for free float for retiring workers. We will present that to the board. I'm sure the board will do them. Activities of the AGM to be reported, we have taken note of that. We are going to put more of these activities in the annual report so that you will also see it. Somebody else, you also asked about our joint venture with Otsuka Pharmaceuticals. That joint venture has not started. That company is a Japanese company that is coming to Nigeria, and after checking around, they chose me and Baker to partner with. So the board has given approval for the joint venture to go on, and I'd like to inform us that that product has been registered by NAFDAC. We've been going through registration. The registration has been approved. So in the third quarter of this year, they are going to officially start importation. So Chief Akinlade was the third person, noble shareholders. Thank you so much for your commendations. Thank you for insightful comments that you made. We've taken note of all those commendations on donations and the less privileged. And I'd like to tell us why we did not report so much of our CSR is because of COVID. We've already started this year, Paseli School for the Blind, and many of those other places. We are doing a lot with them. In the next annual report, you're going to see them reflected. And we're also partnering with the community where we are. We do a lot of CSR, health awareness seminars and all of that. So you're going to see that in the next annual reports. Yeah, we're doing a lot with motherless babies. Okay. Then Sir Soninwosu. Okay. Okay, can I continue, sirs? Thank you. Sir Soninwosu, thank you so much for your insight. You bring a lot to these meetings. Your knowledge of these things is expansive, and I'd like to tell you we have benefited a lot from your support. Thank you so much. So we've taken note of your comments and your insights given in this meeting. We need to tell you that the board is considering what to do in order to comply with CAMA. The board, and I'm sure we trust our board to make the right kind of decisions. We're also going to consider the projects that we have, and we know what time we're likely to need funds. Each time we run to the board will make the right kind of decision. So I think we should allow the board to make decisions with regards to unissued shares, and I'm sure you will be notified. But we appreciate your insight and your suggestions. So I'd like to say at this point, that decision has not been made. The board is going to make the decision based on the timelines that CAMA has stipulated. We also got a question from Chief Sotunde Sokweju on, I think Chief was suggesting that instead of taking loans, we use bonds. Those are also some of the things we are considering so that the interest rates will be very small. The reason why we took CBN loan is because the interest rate is small. If you go to commercial banks to go and get money, they will charge you interest of 20-something%. By the time you take it, you will not be able to deliver dividend to shareholders. So the board is giving us good guidance on that. Then we also heard from Prince Dr. Anthony Omojola. Thank you also for taking time to review most of the items there. On inventory, I like to explain, and I'm really glad that you people can make note of these things. You know the dollar has been going haywire, and it's difficult to access dollar to buy raw materials. Let me also at this point appreciate the kind of chairman that we have. Thank you so much. Thank you. I constantly meet other MDs of other companies when we go for meetings, and some of them ask, how are you managing this forex crisis? How do you get dollars? And I laugh at them because each time I had challenges with getting dollar, my chairman comes to my rescue. That is why you have that inventory, because once we secure the dollar, we use it to buy paracetamol to make sure that we have enough. Without it, we would have gone out of stock. So many other people are out of stock, but our warehouse is filled with paracetamol, thanks to our chairman. All right. So please, the advertisement in page 105 is Furoxetil. We couldn't do so. You will see the advertisement on paracetamol. We'll say the whole lot about it. But crowd responsibility, because of COVID, so much has not been happening. Thank you for noticing that we did not do a product display. I'm sorry about that. Next time there is going to be product display, and next time I promise you there will be samples. Thank you for also making note of the need for retained earnings. It's a balancing act. To be honest, with the challenges in the economy, it was difficult to pay the kind of dividend that we paid. But I said, last year we paid 30 kobo. If I come and pay less than 30 kobo, you people will say, this MD we hire. I don't know what is happening. So it wasn't easy, but we had to make sure we paid that dividend. And you also know taxes going up. The government is pushing us on every side. So we're trying to balance it out to make sure that we also have money to run the business. It's challenging. We appreciate that, but we also wanted our shareholders to get a good dividend. So maybe next year we'll try to keep a balance and pay less dividend. I see. All right, don't worry. Our professor, A.K. Chibuzo Emmanuel, Independent Shareholders Secretary. He spoke like a secretary because I really had to be a secretary to follow him. All right. He mentioned also about the product display. Thank you so much. It will be taken care of. Marketing expenses. Because of COVID, we have not been doing a lot of marketing. You know, our paracetamol, products like that, we have to advertise and all of that. But because of COVID, there had been a slowdown. Now that the things are opening up, and if you see the performance, of that brand, some of the marketing activities we do are to support products like that. Let's be honest, in a challenging time that we had last year, there are few companies that grew by more than. And finally, Mrs. E.O., gender balance. Obideos, thank you. Thank you. All right. At least we'll thank you for representing the women. I will agree with Mrs. Obideye that because our chairman is a lady, she's the best chairman of any other company in this country. She gets things done. But I know you also like me too. So we'll try to maintain gender balance even in our employment and in the board. You know, some of the people who online, they are ladies. We have 2 ladies online, 2 men online. So we're trying to strike that balance. Availability of our products in the market, we're working on that. Like I said, because of COVID, now we're doing adverts. Some of those products are good. And the reason why sometimes the packs you used to have before, you don't see them, with time we change trade names. We change, you know, the old man Baker has changed a bit. He's wholly indigenous now. I know some of you are used to Sulfur Triad and all those kinds of things. Some of those products have changed a bit. Even our paracetamol, the pack you used to have is different from the pack right now. But we're still keeping the red one. We are the official owners of the red one. Yeah, so I will keep improving and we're launching new products. Thank you. All right, so on Lily Water, I've talked about it. Very soon, our water is going to be everywhere. If I missed out anything, forgive me, but I've tried to answer as many of the questions as possible. Thank you.
Thank you very much, our Managing Director. I'm sure he has answered all the questions to your satisfaction. Yes? Do you agree with me? Thank you. Having concluded this segment, we will now proceed to the other items on the agenda for the meeting. The second item on the agenda is the disclosure of the remuneration of managers. According to Section 238 of CAMA 2020, the remuneration of managers of the company must be disclosed at this meeting. Accordingly, the remuneration of the managers of the company is disclosed on page 85 to 86 of the annual report. This is for the information of shareholders. The third item on the agenda is the recommendation of a dividend of 30 kobo per share, subject to deduction of withholding tax. I hereby propose that a dividend of 30 kobo per share amounting to 517,465 naira 80 kobo, subject to deduction of withholding tax.
Go and give that Baba.
Yeah, additional. I saw second. All the way from Remo constituency.
Thank you. Thank you, Prince Adesina. Please, one house. Will those in favor of the resolution please indicate by raising their right hands? Okay. Will those against the resolution please indicate likewise by raising their right hands? Okay. Since there is no dissenting voice, I declare the motion carried unanimously. I hereby propose that Senator Daisy Danjuma be re-elected. Okay. Okay. You see, so that it won't be, so that it will not be biased. Let a man second the motion.
Since I was given birth for the mother, a woman, and she happened also. My name is Boniface Okezie, the National Chairman, Progressive Shareholders Association of Nigeria. I second that motion.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Mr. Okezie. Will those in favor of the resolution please indicate by raising their right hands? Okay. Will those against the resolution please indicate likewise by raising their right? Okay, no dissentient. I declare the motion carried unanimously. Well,
Governor, focus shareholder circle.
Thank you, Mr. Yekini Adisa. Will those in favor of the resolution please indicate by raising their right hands? Will those against the resolution please indicate likewise by raising their right hands? I declare the motion carried unanimously. I hereby confirm that the members of the audit committee of the company until the next annual general meeting are Sajio Adeomi, Mrs. Christine Vincent Owalaka, Mr. Obi Adeleke, Mrs. G.I. Odumodu, and Chief S.M. Onyishi. The sixth item on the agenda is to approve the remuneration of the directors. It is a requirement of Section 2931 of the Companies and Allied Matters Act 2020 that the remuneration of the directors other than salaries be determined by the company in general meeting. I hereby propose that the remuneration of the directors of the company for the year ended 31st December 2021 in the sum of 1,250,000 naira for each non-executive director, save the chairman, whose fees shall be fixed at a sum of 1,500,000, be approved. Will a member please second the motion?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. My name is Prince Engineer M.O.T. Olaiwola Tobun. I rise to second the motion. Thank you.
Thank you, Engineer Olaiwole. Will those in favor of the resolution please indicate by raising their right hands? Will those against the resolution please indicate likewise by raising their right hands? I declare the motion has been carried by majority of shareholders. Item number 7 on the agenda is to consider and, if thought fit, to pass the following conjoint resolution, which is being proposed as an ordinary resolution. I hereby move that the directors be and are hereby authorized to take steps to comply with the requirements of the Section 124 of the Companies and Allied Matters Act, 2020, and the Companies Regulations 2021 with respect to unissued shares of the company, including but not limited to cancellation of such unissued shares. That the directors be and are hereby authorized to enter into and execute any agreement, deeds, notices, and any other document necessary for and or incidental to bringing into effect the resolution in the first paragraph above. That the directors of the company or any one of them for the time being be and are hereby authorized to appoint such professional parties and advisors and to perform all such other actions and to do all such other things as may be necessary for or incidental to bringing into effect the resolutions in the foregoing paragraphs, including without limitation, complying with directives of any regulatory authority. Will a member please second the motion? Alaja Ayodele Ogundais. Thank you. Will those in favor of the resolution please indicate by raising their right hand? Will those against the resolution please indicate likewise by raising their right hand? I declare the motion carried unanimously. Chiefs, distinguished shareholders, ladies and gentlemen, As there is no other business to be considered at this meeting, I wish to thank you all for attending and taking an interest in your company's affairs. The 71st Annual General Meeting is now declared closed. Thank you very much. May God bless you all. And shall we stand for the national anthem? Thank you.